What's up, y'all? Welcome to the first episode of Tre Ball. This is my basketball show. I talk about everything basketball. If you know me, I used to have a show called Passion Podcast where I talked about basketball and at the same time talk about wrestling. Haven't been following wrestling too much as I used to. And basketball has been something I actually been like a fan of since I was a kid. Wrestling too, but basketball was more so like prominent, more so obtainable to me, even though I wasn't as good at it. Still ain't to this day. I'll get some of y'all buckets though. Don't don't get me wrong. I'll get some of y'all buckets. Ask around. But anyways, that's besides the point. This is a basketball show, and basically I'm just gonna talk about everything basketball. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. First thing I want to talk about today, even though we kind of started off on a high note, this has been news all over the week. It's been like not even just basketball news. It's been world news. Kobe Bryant, his death, along with his daughter Gianna, and the 7 other people that was on that helicopter that crashed on Sunday afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. It was Sunday morning, West Pacific Standard Time, I should say. At first, when I heard about it, I remember because like I was walking into work and a friend of mine who's also a fellow journalist, he told me, he said, "You heard Kobe died." I looked, I said, "Man," I said, "Man, get out of my face, bro. That's some fake stuff." And I was like, because like just me even uttering those words, Kobe's dead. Like Kobe Bryant just died. Like it just to this day, we're like 5 days removed from that accident, and like I still can't fathom the fact that like this man is dead. He died at the age of 41. Like I said, along with other people. Rest in peace to all of them. It's tragic. Like in my lifetime, and me being only 21 years old, I've experienced some like famous celebrity deaths. I remember when Michael Jackson died, Prince dying. But at this age that I'm at now, mortality is not. I'm not gonna say it's more like evident in my mind because I'm still so young, but just the way I'm thinking and just like what Kobe has not meant to me, because I wasn't the biggest Kobe Bryant fan. I know people that are and like are real like diehard Laker fans, but it's just as a basketball lover, I know what he has meant so much into the game of basketball, and just as you see now that he is dead, you see what he has meant to so much, not even just the game of basketball, but just the world in general. Like people outside of sports, like you don't have to watch basketball. Like it becomes apparent that you see how much of a name that this man, or just how much of a like this icon this man has become in today's society. When people outside who don't even watch basketball, they know who Kobe Bryant is, and people are like shocked at the fact that this man is dead. Like I was talking to one of my coworkers, and like she had her nails painted purple and gold, and she asked, I said, "Are you a big basketball fan? Like, did you pay attention to Kobe Bryant like that?" She said no, but she was like just talking about like how he died, like how is it sad, and like knowing that like his reach went beyond basketball. And if you pay attention to him after he retired in 2016, like this man was doing more than just basketball. He went on to win an Oscar. He went on, well, it was either Oscar or Emmy. I think it was, yeah, I think it was an Oscar actually. It was an Oscar for his show, Dear Basketball. And like he was doing more and more different type of like ventures that he was doing. Like Kobe has been, if you looked into him, has been one of those guys who just was a hard worker, and he would just challenge and do anything. He was one of those people that like, why can't you do it? Like just if you put forth the effort and work hard for it, why can't you do it? Like this man was fluent in languages that like you wouldn't think a kid from Philly would be fluent and like just talk about. Like this guy was fluent in Italian. This man knew Slovenian, as we saw when he was like trash talking Luka at the game. Like in other languages, like it's crazy what this man, like in the impact he has on the world. Or like I said, just not this outside of sports, just the world in general. And to me personally, like when I found out about that news, I was like just stunned. They're like, "What? Kobe Bryant's dead." Like that's not something I imagined myself saying at 21. Maybe when I was like 61 or 80, like 61 years, because like he's 20 years old. I mean, that's something I would imagine saying, like hearing about when I'm like really old, like his time has come. Like let us not forget, David Stern just died a couple weeks ago as well. like earlier this month. Like he just died too. But like we seen like he was a little bit older age, and like yes, he has meant a lot to the basketball world and what he has contributed. But we was like his death was more celebratory because it wasn't as a tragic accident like Kobe Bryant's death is. Not saying that like we happy he's dead. Like it's just that when you get to that age, it's like okay, and when you have like terminal illnesses and you battle so much throughout life, you expect like it's his time. But Kobe, he was still like in human span time, this man was still relatively young. Granted, you might think like 41. This man was old. Because we think like, you think when you're 30 something in the NBA, you think that's old. Really not. This man was still relatively young, had a lot to accomplish, and let alone his daughter was on that helicopter as well, who was the reason why he was getting back into basketball anyways, why we started seeing him at these games more often. Because we didn't see Kobe at these games since he retired. The last game we saw him at was his jersey retirement, which was last year. And before that, we didn't even see Kobe for real. And it's heartbreaking. Like even to me, like it's like it weighed on me a little bit. Cause like I said, I'm not even the biggest Kobe fan, but the fact that this man is now gone, and the way that in the matter he died, as well as his daughter, as well as the other 7 people involved on that crash, like it's tragic, and it's gonna be like one of those moments that looking back from like years from now, it's gonna be like, where was you at when Kobe Bryant died? And like I don't even know like how to like fully like put it into like words to like really like grasp. Cause like it's still like unreal to me. Like I said, like saying those words don't seem real to me at all. Cause it's like, how could this happen so soon in that way? Like people said, oh, you should have never like rode a helicopter. You should have drove. But if you know LA traffic is really bad. And Kobe, there was a video that's circulating around the internet. Like even Kobe talking about like how he even like looked into helicopters and why he started flying helicopters because it was a quick way to get to place. Kobe, like I said, was a hardworking man, had a like crazy work ethic that everybody like could try to strive to be. But like this man was a crazy work at it, and he like would use it as he said to try to make time to like if he got a chance to like take his kids to school and get from like place to place, and he done it for years. So it's not like this was his first time riding in the helicopter and like, oh, it was it was just simple error. But like as people are investigating more and more, trying to find out the reason for the crash, it's I don't know. It's just tragic, just to say the least. Recently we seen his wife, Vanessa, just post something on Instagram about the death. And you gotta imagine what she's going through right now, losing not only her husband but her daughter too, and like just the mourning of just her and the other families involved in this. Because there was also a whole family that was on that helicopter as well. It was a parent, 2 parents, mother and father, and their daughter. So and from what I heard and what I believe, they also had kids. So imagine what their kids are going through as well. And like I said, the families of the other people that was on that helicopter, how they are affected by this, it's tragic to say the least. She posted on Instagram. I'm pulling it up right now, actually, and a long message I will read if you haven't said it. She said, it's just sad. It gets to me. She said, "My girls and I want to thank the millions of people who shown support and love during this horrific time. Thank you for all the prayers. We definitely need them. We are completely devastated by the sudden loss of my adoring husband, Kobe, the amazing father of our children, and my beautiful, sweet Gianna, a loving, thoughtful, and wonderful daughter and amazing sister to Natalia, Bianca, and Capri. We are also devastated for the families who lost their loved ones on Sunday, and we share in that grief intimately. There aren't enough words to describe our pain right now. I take comfort in knowing that Kobe and Gigi both knew that they were so deeply loved. We were so incredibly blessed to have them in our lives. I wish they were here with us forever. They were our beautiful blessing taken from us too soon. I'm not sure what our lives hold beyond today, and it's impossible to imagine life without them. But we wake up each day trying to keep pushing because Kobe and our baby girl Gigi are shining on us to light the way. Our love for them is endless, and that's to say immeasurable. I just wish I could hug them, kiss them, and bless them. Have them here with us forever. Thank you for sharing thank you for sharing your joy, your grief, and your support with us. We ask that you grant us the respect and privacy we will need to navigate this new reality. To honor our Team Mamba family, the Mamba Sports Foundation has set up the Mamba on 3 Fund to help support the other families affected by this tragedy. To donate, please go to mambaon3.org. To further Kobe and Gianna's legacy in youth sports, please visit mambasportsfoundation.org. So, like I said, we see that, like, as I read that message, Vanessa has been, like, deeply affected by this. And like I said, she wants her privacy, which is completely respectable after this situation. So if you would like to, go ahead and donate to that fund and help those in that family who are grieving with this situation. Because like I said, it's pretty tragic when you look at it, and it's just it's an impact on not even just basketball, but just the world in general. So, take a water. So, that's just my thoughts on that situation right there. Rest in peace, Kobe. Rest in peace, Gigi, and rest in peace to the others that were on that helicopter crash. So, with that being said, let's continue on with the show. I just had to kind of get that out the way. I know I kind of started off on a somber note, but that's just, like I said, that's been something that's big in basketball, and like I said, just in the world. And I just had to talk about that. But let's keep going with the show, and let's keep talking about basketball, because the game just got to keep going. I know Tuesday, the Clippers and Lakers game was canceled in respect, in respect to Kobe and just those that were affected by that, because the Lakers, of course, and the Lakers organization were deeply affected by this. Rob Pelinka, if y'all don't know, was Kobe Bryant's agent, who is now the president of basketball operations for the LA Lakers. He got promoted from GM. He was, like I said, he was Kobe's agent. Jeannie Buss, who was extremely close with Kobe Bryant, and she called him sometimes in times of like just despair, just needed somebody to talk to. Because Kobe was also a good person that a lot of people in the Lakers organization were just outside in basketball would just talk to from time to time, because he was just that guy to go to when they needed like some motivation. So out of respect, the Clippers and Lakers did not play. The Clippers did play last night against the Kings. They did lose. If I pull up the score, actually, they played last night, and here it is. They played and they lost to the Kings 124-103. The Lakers are playing right now, actually, as I'm recording this. They're playing the Portland Trail Blazers, which is the first game the Lakers have played since the incident. And LeBron James, who's playing tonight, him and Anthony Davis got Kobe Bryant tattoos. LeBron did just reveal that tattoo of what he had. It was like a mob mentality. It's a pretty cool looking tattoo, actually. But there was a game Wednesday night that I kind of wanted to get into that I caught for a little bit. And just because they are my team, or one of my teams right now. Not my main team. My main team is the Indiana Pacers. I'm a Pacers fan. That's my main team. But since I am a Russell Westbrook fan, I am a fan of the Houston Rockets now. And it's not looking like how I thought it was. I think they just won, actually, too. They was playing the Mavericks, and last time I checked, they was beating the Mavericks. Let me check the score on that. But on Wednesday, they was not doing too good. And they haven't been doing too good as of late. More specifically, James Harden. They actually just won. They beat the Mavericks 128-121. Good for them. I'm happy. But on Wednesday, like I said, they wasn't doing too good. And James Harden's shooting numbers have been abysmal lately. People have been talking. I know people have been saying, like, he's been doing this for a while. He's just chucking up shots. Not like this. Granted, some games he has been putting up some, like, still good numbers, like points-wise. But efficiency-wise, from the field, he's not. Thankfully, he's a good free throw shooter where he's getting most of his points from. In his last 5 games, not including the one he just played tonight, his shooting splits looked like this. In the Portland game, he shot 5 for 18. He was inactive the 2 games prior to that against Utah and Denver. Then before that, he played Minnesota. He shot 3 for 13 with 12 points. He had I didn't say he had 18 points in the last game against Portland. But he had 12 points against Minnesota. Then the game before that against Denver, he had 6 for 13. He went 6 for 13, having only 27 points. Like I said, he was doing it good from the free throw line. Before that, he had 9 for 29 from the field. It's 20 shots missed right there. It's a lot. Going for 29 points, like I said, doing good at the free throw line. And then before that, he went 8 for 20, scoring 34 points. Again, most of his points is coming from the free throw line. He's a season average from the free throw line this year. He is, where is the numbers? Oh, numbers. How do we love them so? Can't even see him. Oh, well. But in those games, he has been shooting better than what I'm seeing right here. He shot 100% for the past 2 games, for the ones against Portland and Minnesota. And the Denver game, he shot 87%. And Oklahoma City game, he shot 77%. And the Laker game, he shot 89%. So the free throw line is like really holding him up in these points that we've been seeing. But from the field, it's looking not too good. Let me pull up actually what's his stats looking like for tonight when he played Dallas. We're looking at pulling them up right now on the quick fly. James Harden stats. Mavericks. Oh, yeah, he shot good tonight. He went 10 for 25 tonight. Only missing 15. That's 15 shots. That's still a lot of shots missed. But he had 35 points. And he had 16. He had 16 rebounds. Good for James Harden. Yes, okay. I know some of y'all like that's still bad, Kendall. Like, come on, the Rockets they're not looking too good. Yes, they're not looking as good as I thought or as Benny thought they would start out this season looking. But it's a process. More specifically on that game they played on Wednesday against the Trailblazers. As everybody know, this rivalry that has been made between Russ and Dame Lillard. This is as a Russell Westbrook fan, you know, Russell did play good on Wednesday. He had 39 points, I believe. This rivalry is I don't know. It messes me up because if you know me, I talk to my friends. I talk about the Trailblazers. I think they're bums. I'm sorry. That's just my personal opinion. Like I never think I never think they're good, and they're not that good this year. Granted, they did lose some pieces like Al-Farouq Aminu, Seth Curry, Mo Harkless. Zach Collins is injured right now. They lost Myers Leonard. They lost some good pieces that was in their rotation last year. Well, even then, I was like, these guys ain't that good still. But they was third in the West last year. And this season, they're 10th in the West right now. With the addition of Carmelo Anthony, they just traded for Trevor Ariza and Caleb Swanigan. They got Rodney Hood. Zach Collins, like I said, is hurt. Nurkic is still hurt. They did obtain Hassan Whiteside, Mario Hezonja, who I thought was going to be a good addition for him. I thought, but it's not helping them. But just between Russ and Dame, they just been going at it. And Wednesday night, man, Dame was disrespectful again. This man literally was crossing half court and pulling up from the Trailblazer logo, 2 threes in Russ's face. It was just, I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it, but this man was giving it. But Russ was giving it to him too. Like it's not like Russ was just taking the butt whooping and not giving it back to him. We're not going to, like, that's not Russ's game. Put some respect on his name. But in that game, Lillard did get his first triple-double in his career. You know, Russell has more than one, you know. Leads the league an all-time triple-double. But Dame Lillard went on to post a picture of them two hugging it out after the game. And Dame Lillard with the quote on his Instagram saying, or the caption I should say, saying, they confuse competing with hate when it's ruthless versus ruthless. #respect. #first triple-double. So, I guess from that situation, it just seems that Dame just had to earn Russ's respect. And like in basketball, it can get very competitive. Like a lot of old heads, like, you know, people like, you know, the players today be like, oh, y'all all friends. Like we did not like each other back then, blah blah blah, this and that. And this is like one of the most interesting rivalries in the league, especially when they go at it, because it's like so competitive. Like I would say if the Trailblazers somehow made it to the playoffs, and if they get out the first round, like just to see the Rockets and the Trailblazers in the playoffs, that'd be a good thing to see, because when you think about Like just all the ingredients that's going into this pot of this rivalry. Like I said, you got Russ and Dame. Carmelo used to play for the Rockets, and now being like he got shipped out, like basically released after what 10 games, and now he's playing for the Trailblazers, doing good. And you got, like I said, like the Blazers don't even like Russ, like even the organization, like he was getting booed a lot of times. And Trevor Ariza, who did used to play for the Rockets, who is now on the Trailblazers. So it's like so many pieces you see here. I think it'll be like an interesting like matchup to see in the playoffs. But the Trailblazers not the way it's looking, they might not make it to the playoffs. So we might not see that. But it'd be something that'd be interesting. And we start off the season thinking that like the Rockets can like they're one of like a championship contender. The way it's looking, they're sitting sixth in the West, fifth now actually after beating the Mavericks. I don't think they're going. Maybe I don't know because people have to get on James Harden not being a playoff, like showing up in the playoffs, and Russell Westbrook doing the same. I disagree with Russell, but with James, it's up there. And one of the big questions it makes you ask, what is their problem? Like, why can't Houston get it together? Like some people say they was better off with Chris Paul. You hear some people say, well, with Russell Westbrook, they're a faster team. Granted, their offense has gotten faster, but their defense has suffered. They lost their defensive coordinator. I forgot his name. I forgot his name. I can't think of it right now. But they lost their defensive coordinator, which was a big part of like keeping their defense together. And you can argue, maybe say that Chris Paul is a better defender than Russ, even at this age. I personally think Russ is better, even though like he doesn't really put as much effort in defense as he used to. But I think when he wants to, I think he could be a better defender than Chris Paul. But that's my opinion. You can all just disagree if you want to. I don't care. But what is the problem? To me, I think it's D'Antoni at this point. And if you notice at the beginning of the season, the owner of the team, not Daryl Morey, that's the GM. I forgot the owner's name. But he did not give D'Antoni an extension on his contract, and which is very surprising because like at this point, it's like I gave you Westbrook. We upgraded from Chris Paul to Westbrook. But you look at that as an upgrade. I do. And this is championship expectation. This is a championship team. You have the same team essentially as you had last season. You just traded one player. You got Westbrook instead of Chris Paul. So essentially, with two MVPs on your team and still in their prime, you would think that this is a championship team. So why aren't they the top team in the West? Personally, I think it's D'Antoni. I think it comes to the point where he needs to get questioned about what he's doing, how he's coaching his team. Because if you look at it and the way they play, if you look at how they played when Chris Paul first got there, him and James Harden was staggering minutes. They were still playing well and they ended up having the number one seed in the West. Last season, however, they playing. They started off bad actually, and then Chris Paul went out. And the month of December last season, that's when James Harden started going off. That's when he started having this scoring points, going for like 40, going 30, 50, like just scoring. And that's when we start seeing the offense of that system change to just being James Harden being so ball dominant and basically being the point guard. So when Chris Paul came back, that's where it kind of like conflicted a little bit between the two, and they had to like figure it out like how's it going to change? And then Tony didn't really change the system. He just expected Chris Paul to just adjust. Well, that didn't jive too well with Chris Paul. And like just like in there, you can see in the way they played with each other, and ultimately they didn't get the job done as they lost in Western semis last season to the Warriors. So I would think that they adjusted the system, and we've seen Russell Westbrook kind of taking a back seat because people thinking, oh, they have the highest usage rate in NBA history. How are they gonna coexist with each other? Like Russell Westbrook is not. I always been an advocate saying that like Russell Westbrook is not as ball dominant as people make it seem. If you notice, Paul George, an MVP candidate last season, had his best career with best season. I should say his best season with Russell Westbrook. Kevin Durant also won an MVP with Russell Westbrook on his team. So it's like, how can you really say that when these players are still shining with Russell Westbrook on their team? Like, he's not as ball dominant. I say that with players that he could trust and that are actually really good, he gives them their time to shine, and it's like he'll take a back seat. Like Russell Westbrook's not even averaging a triple-double this season. He's really not. His numbers is like for the past couple years, since he teamed up with Paul George and Melo when they first got to OKC, like his scoring average has actually like been dropping. He's just been average. He's been able to average triple double those last 3 seasons with OKC. He's not even averaging triple double this season, and like you don't hear too many people talk about it because like that's not the storyline they want. They want to act like, oh, Russell needs to do this, Russell needs to do that. They really don't. James Harden is still averaging the most points in the league right now, close to 40 points, with Russell Westbrook on his team. So it's not Russell's fault. You can't blame him. And you, like I said, the way James Harden is shooting right now, he has to get better at his shooting. He just has to. Like it's not looking too good. He's still getting like to the foul line, getting some points, which he is a master of getting to the foul line. He's a artist, if you will, when it comes to that. But as far as like the team and the way they play and their defense is abysmal this year. They have one of the worst defensive efficiencies in the league right now. They need to get better. So what I see for coming is at the end of the season, with them not getting, I'll say they'll make it. I'll say they make it to the Western Semis. As a Rockets fan, I'm being honest with myself. They're gonna make it to the Western Semis because we all know it's gonna be the Clippers and the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. The way the West is looking, and the way just the whole NBA is looking, which is gonna lead to my next topic. Like, I see them getting to the Western Semis, and from that point, we'll see D'Antoni get fired because, like I said, they have a good team around them. We'll see D'Antoni get fired, and they need to bring in a new coach. Who would that be? Who is a good Fizdale? I don't know how they will. Nah, I don't know. Fizdale maybe. Well, Mark Jackson, he's still up and he's still out there. There's some good coaches out there. Maybe they'll probably still a coach from somebody's team. We'll see that as the season progresses. We'll start hearing more rumbles about that later on in the season because maybe it's still January. Maybe D'Antoni can flip it around. He can find a way. He got till April, and the way it's looking, they're still in the playoff contention. So it's not too much of a worry. But come playoff time, and when they lose, it's gonna become a problem. It's gonna become evident that like, yeah, this needs to change because at that point it won't be the players, it will be D'Antoni. So, and like I said, this leads to my next topic, talking about just the Western Conference standings and just the NBA itself. Because when we started this season off, a lot of us, including myself, was very hopeful, thinking like this is gonna be one of the best like NBA seasons of all time. Like the league is so evenly. It's so evenly balanced. Like, we're going to see good teams. Like, that's so many championship contenders. We thought of saying that, like, okay, both LA teams are championship contenders. Utah, Denver, Houston. We also thought that maybe the Trailblazers, because the way they play, they always, like, find a way to make it work. You can never count the Spurs. We thought that as well. Some people thought that the Pelicans can, like, sneak into the playoffs. The Warriors. And in the East, we had the Bucks. We had the 76ers, the Celtics, maybe. We wasn't really expecting the Nets because KD's not playing, but that's more like, let's see, that's like what, 10 or more like contenders I just named. I didn't really count them, so don't judge me on that. But like a lot of those, we thought like this is gonna be a well balanced season. Now in January, going into February 1st tomorrow. We only see really just 3 NBA championship contenders, both LA teams and the Bucks. Outside of that, like no other teams are like that dominating or they're like we're not so sure on like, even though the Nuggets are tied with the Clippers are now for number 2 seed in the West, not everybody is sold on the Nuggets being championship contenders. They made it to the Western Semis last year. They lost to Portland. In Game 7, I don't know. CJ McCollum, I guess. But my guess. But not everybody's sold on the Nuggets being championship contenders. They're still relatively young. I think Michael Porter is playing well right now, and I think eventually, the more he plays, I think next season. I know everybody's like, this next season stuff. I think next season maybe they'll have a chance, but this season, I don't see them beating the Clippers or the Lakers if they see them in the playoffs. I don't see that happening. I really don't. Not in a 7-game series. The Jazz, I definitely don't see that happening. The Rockets, we just talked about them. Their defense is abysmal. I don't see them beating the Clippers or the Lakers in the 7-game series. The Mavericks, they number 6 seed in the West, which I'll give credit. My friend George, he saw them being in the playoffs This year, I didn't really see that. And like Luka Doncic, yes, he's a great player. We see that now, who's obviously an MVP candidate, and Kristaps Porzingis, and the way that Rick Carlisle has been coaching that team, and how they become like one of the top teams in the league in terms of like shooting threes and just their offensive efficiency. We didn't see that coming, but they're playing really well. But I don't see them beating, like I said, any of those teams. Not the Lakers, not the Clippers in a 7-game series, because they got some young pieces on that team, and it's gonna take time for them to really gel. And I was hearing them talk about the game before I came over here today. Talk about like how Kristaps is there, he's playing good, but like he's not playing like the Kristaps we saw in New York. And we know, like if you see these players coming off these big injuries, like we've seen Gordon Hayward and Paul George come off their big injuries, it'll take about 2 seasons after they come back to really get back to their full selves. Like we see Gordon Hayward playing really well this year after he didn't do too well last season, coming off his nasty leg injury that he suffered in the first game of the season of, 2017 season against the Cavs. And we saw Paul George when he snapped his leg at the Team USA exhibition. We seen how he played after he came back, and he progressively got better. So it just takes time. So Porzingis will, in theory, will be a better player come next season. And just seeing him and Luka play together is going to be just crazy to watch, because they already got a good team right now with some good pieces around them. I say they get a couple more pieces. Tim Hardaway is playing good this year as well. Or Dorian Finney-Smith has stepped up. They lost Dwight Powell like last week to Achilles injury. So we seeing some of the pieces that they have. I think next season they'll be better. They'll be a better team, but not this season. They're not ready. The Thunder, shockingly, they're in the playoffs too. But as I'm going down this standings, like the requirement to get in the playoffs in the West, because we always talk about the Western Conference being like, oh, this is such a dominant conference. Like, how can anybody beat like anybody in the West? Like, it's so hard to get in the playoffs. Like, now looking at it, the Thunder are in the playoffs with a 29-20 record. Okay, but at the AC, this is where it's like, all right, people can hop in here. At the AC, we have the Grizzlies. Who thought the Grizzlies were gonna be in the playoffs this year? So far, like who? I'm waiting. Not me. I didn't think that. With Ja, I like Ja. I'm a big Ja Morant fan. Shout out Ja Morant. I saw him play at EKU last year. Good guy. I like him. He's gonna be a star in this league. Who thought that they would be in the playoffs right now? They have a record of 24-25. When's the last time we saw a below 500 team in the Western Conference in playoff contention? Like when? Like I remember last season, teams was fighting to get in the Western Conference last season with the Clippers, the Kings, and I think it was them two. It was another team I might not be thinking right now, but like just it like how? And you have below them the Spurs is looking outside the playoffs, which I hope they don't, because then that'll ruin the streak that they have for being in the playoffs for about 20 years or like 20 seasons, I should say, so or more. Like that would be crazy if the Spurs they 21-26. So unless they go on a run or something, or I don't know. The Trailblazers, they out the playoffs. They like I said, they a 10 seed with 21-27. Then you have like the Suns, who's 20-27, and the Pelicans, who I thought maybe would sneak into the playoffs at number 8. Maybe no, actually, no, I didn't. I didn't think they was gonna make it. I had them as a hopeful, so like at number 9. But like I didn't think Zion was gonna get hurt, and he's just now coming back, and they're actually playing really well. Brandon Ingram, who's an all-star, shout out 150 BI, man. So well, I didn't see Brandon Ingram becoming an all-star, but I know Laker Nation is like fuming right now because where's Cal Kuzma? Lonzo's starting to play well too. So like yeah, just looking at that, just in the West, like what teams outside the Lakers and the Clippers do you really see getting to the finals? Like like I said, I am partially a Rockets fan because of Russell Westbrook, so that is a team I root for. I am a fan of the Nuggets as well. Not like an actual like hoorah fan of the Nuggets, but I always liked them just for over the years. I just like their style of play. They always been fast paced and they always been fun to watch throughout the years. From Carmelo to AI when AI Melo was there, to when Ty Lawson was there, with Kenneth Reed, Iguodala, Randy Floyd, this different. Like I just like them for years. I don't know why. I don't know. And the Nuggets is also a cool name to me, and their colors are cool. I don't know. It sounds childish, but well, who else really seen them? Like who else? Who else do you see in that? And then if we go to the Eastern Conference, like the Bucks, who I didn't even think was gonna be as good this year. I thought with them losing Malcolm Brogdon will hurt them a bit, but this team got better. They gotten better with what they have. So they lost Brogdon. They had everybody else to stay there. They lost who else? They lost another good bench player too. Damn. I can't think of it right now. My mind's blank for it. But we all thought they wasn't gonna be the number one team in the East. We all thought it was gonna belong to the 76ers. But the Bucks have the best record in the league right now, 41-6, and I say Giannis Antetokounmpo is gonna be MVP again. Because how can you deny this man's play? Like, he has the best record in the league. He has crazy numbers. Going last time I checked, he was like, what, 30 points, 15 rebounds, or like 12 rebounds a game. I said 15. That's, Jesus, this man had 15 rebounds? God. About 12 rebounds a game, has the highest PER in NBA history. Like, what? Like, this guy's crazy. Like, he's carrying, like, this team. And we've seen them play well without Giannis being there. Like, last week, Chris Middleton dropped 51 points. Who I didn't think was going to be an all-star again this year. He's still somehow be an all-star because he hasn't been playing as well. But he's stepping up recently. And, like, this team is a well-coached team under Mike Budenholzer. And they got some good pieces around them with Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, Wesley Matthews was a good addition. Kyle Korver. They got Robin Lopez as well as Brook Lopez, who's been there. So we seen these pieces going around Giannis, and like there's no other team in the East who I can see right now beating them. We have the Raptors at number 2, who I didn't see even being in the top 10 this year, coming off of losing Kawhi. Pascal Siakam is playing like an MVP candidate. Not top 5, as some people would say. But he's like number 7 if you want to do a top 10 list of MVP candidate. But he's playing really well. And just that team in general, I think last time I checked, I think Pascal was averaging 23 points. I think last time I checked. And you have Kyle Lowry, who's got named All-Star, who's averaging 20 points. And he just broke the record for becoming an all-time assist leader in Toronto Raptors history. And I think he's trailing in points to Vince Carter, Chris Bosh, and DeMar DeRozan, which I can see him breaking. It's not going to be something hard. I can see him breaking that eventually. He stays with that team. If after they just gave him that 1 year extension for like what $35 million that he signed in the offseason. So Masai Ujiri, shout out to him because he put this team together and they still playing well. And shout out to Nick Nurse who's coaching his team and the players on his team as well. Fred VanVleet. We've seen Serge Ibaka is still on the team. He's still playing well. Those are like just key players that I know off the top of my head that's playing well. OG Anunoby, who stepped back up in the starting lineup. I think last time I checked, they got Ronnie Hollis Jefferson in the summer. They got a couple other rookies too. But this has been a well-played team this year. The Celtics, they got 32-15. They playing real well too. A lot of people say, they're playing better without Kyrie. That's a whole argument for a different day. I'm getting tired of people saying that's not on Kyrie. It's really not. But they're playing well. The Heat, who last time I checked, they was number 2, but now they're number 4 in the East with a 32-15 record, who are playing surprisingly well. I didn't see them being in this high in the East. I saw them making the playoffs like at number 7, number 8. But number 4, they playing real well with 2 All-Stars on their team, Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, obviously. Tyler Herro is playing real good as a rookie. Shout out to Tyler Herro. Kendrick Nunn, who's playing surprisingly well too. I don't know where this guy came from. He's playing real well. They got a guy, Duncan Robinson, as well, Kelly Olynyk, Myers Leonard. They got Silva. The guy's first name. They got that guy too. And Eric Spoelstra, of course, is a championship coach. Pat Riley is a championship ran organization. So from top to bottom, it's a good organization, and it makes you think. I heard some rumblings. That if the Bucks can't get it done, will we see Giannis Antetokounmpo go to South Beach or Golden State, to be exact? I don't know. I just keep that in mind, people. My Indiana Pacers are number 5 with 31-17. Victor Oladipo just came back on Wednesday against the Chicago Bulls, hitting a 3 to go to overtime, actually, where the Pacers won that game. Shout out to Oladipo. Glad you're back, son. Looking forward to to a good season because we've been playing good without Oladipo, and the Pacers they've been a consistent team, just playing well. Sabonis is named for a first time All Star on that team as well. Brogdon is on that. Excuse me, a lot of burps today. Malcolm Brogdon is on that team as well. And then we got the 76ers, who a lot of people picked to come out the East this year. Well, no, I don't want it, people. Go back. Who a lot of people picked to come out the East this year. I kind of did too. But one glaring thing as I watched them play and just in general, they are a big team, but they can't shoot. They can't shoot at all. They really like I watched them play like live and they're not a good like shooting team. You have Ben Simmons who've been playing really well without Joel Embiid, and a lot of these questions have been going around for these past couple seasons, but this season it's probably a little bit more evident. It makes you wonder, would they need to trade Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid? Because with Ben Simmons not being able to shoot as well, and now you had the addition of Al Horford, who can space the floor, but he can play inside the paint as well. It makes you wonder with the way these two play, and like I said, Ben Simmons not being able to shoot, can they coexist? Or do we have to get rid of one or the other? And who would you keep? Which is a good question. Consistency wise, Ben Simmons is better because he doesn't get hurt as much, and he's such a like we don't see us like he's 6'10", almost 7 foot point guard with his ball like his way he plays in transition and his passing ability, and like just having such a big guard, it's just a good person to have, and he's good, averaging 16, 8, and 8. He's good. With Joel Embiid, who's been considered like one of the best centers in the league. Like it makes you like I don't know, man. I don't know on that one. Let's see how Joel Embiid plays the rest of this season. I'll go from there because I don't know. Cause Joel is really good too, but like I said, he gets hurt a lot, and that can hurt a team, especially if you get rid of Ben Simmons. Because Lord knows if Ben Simmons wasn't there, God, that team would be abysmal. At least in my eyes. Because Tobias Harris. Highway robbery of the century, man. $180 million contract. For what? For what? What do you do? What do you do to get $180 million? I don't know. You got your money, players. Salute to you, dog. But hey, I don't know. The Nets are number 7 with 21 and 26. Nobody really expecting them to be as good this year without Kevin Durant. I mean, yeah, with Kyrie, he's there, but he missed about 27, 28 games now after missing the game against the Knicks earlier this week. They haven't been playing as well, and they're still trying to figure it out. And that whole controversy of like Kyrie's comment that he made a couple weeks ago, talking about they need 1 or 2 pieces to compete for a championship, which I believe so too, because people will say, "Oh, well Kyrie, he's there, he should step up the team." But it's like we see how they play without Kyrie there, and people like, "Oh, well, they were the 6th seed last season with D'Angelo Russell." Yeah, I mean they linger around the same area, same seeding as they was last year without Kyrie, and now Kyrie's back and he's playing more consistently. I will hope they get better and maybe rise to a 5th seed, but if that happens, I hope the Pacers rise up so they don't fall. But championship expectations was not one of their things this season. They wasn't going this season expecting championship expectations. This is kind of like a trial run to see like how the team is going to run with Kyrie, because when Kevin Durant comes back next season, they a championship contender. Like that's Kevin Durant. Granted, he tore his Achilles. Kevin Durant with a torn Achilles, I'll say at most this man averages 25. He averages 25, put up, I think he'll get like 7 rebounds, about 4 assists. That's still pretty efficient. And you know Kevin Durant's very efficient guy. And just having him on the floor, it's a game changer. Going alongside with Kyrie, Spencer Dinwiddie, and those other guys like Jared Allen. And Wilson Chandler's coming back too, Garrett Temple. Like it's Joe Harris, they got some good players, but they just gotta find a way to just get it together. And the Magic that at the 8th seed, they always make the playoffs at least some way, somehow. I don't pay too much attention to them. My cousin's a big fan of the Magic, but hey, that's not my team. But yeah, that's just like the whole point of like, there's really only 3 championship contenders now when we really just look at it. There's only 3 just championship contenders, so it's like, is this what we thought the season was going to be like? No. Is the playoffs still gonna be interesting? I believe so. I think there's still gonna be some good matchups in the earlier rounds, but as the games progress and as we get to the later rounds, we know in my mind it's gonna be the Clippers and the Bucks. That's what I think it's gonna be. I Unless they find a way to beat Giannis again in the playoffs and like slow him down and get him out the paint. Which team will do that? I don't know. The Celtics is too small to me. The Raptors. Oh, if the Raptors beat them again. Oh wow, that'd be crazy. The Heat, they're small too. I don't see them doing that. So I don't know. I say the Clippers win the championship this year. I don't care what you Lakers fans think. I don't care what some of you basketball pundits think either, because of Kobe's death, that the Lakers gonna go harder, LeBron will go harder. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are fans of Kobe Bryant as well. And they're also a better team than Lakers. They're going to the championship. And they will win. Mark my words. So that's what I have to say on that subject. To my next topic, there was a little scuffle. A little fight in the NBA. Who doesn't like a fight in the NBA? We don't see those as often as we used to back in the day. Well, I never seen them. I was too young to even see them as much as they did back in the day. I'm not that old. But there was a fight at the Knicks and Grizzlies game. The Grizzlies was beating the Knicks. Who doesn't beat up on the Knicks nowadays in Madison Square Garden? And there was a point at the last remaining seconds of the game when we seen Jay Crowder steal an inbound pass and go for a corner three, to which Elfrid Payton, who looked vividly frustrated at that point, comes out and closes out on Jay Crowder. And not do it like a regular closeout, but pushes his man. Like two-hand push this man. Excuse me, there goes another bird. Golly. Gaseous today. And pushes this man. And like they get into a little scuffle. I don't know, man. Should he have done that? I don't know. Maybe not, because like it's the Knicks. Like, what you doing? And like, into Jay Crowder's defense, because Timothy Ledger, he talked about it on his Twitter. He said, "I take on the hostilities tonight between New York Knicks and Memphis Grizzlies. What the hell was at Jay Crowder?" Well, he put his little ad name. I don't know what Jay Crowder's ad name is supposed to be. At CJC9 Boss. I don't know. Thinking. Seriously, and if someone says played to the final buzzer, then I know they have never played ball at any level. 18-point lead, 50 seconds left, still in the inbounds, shooting a three. 2 laughing emojis. And to which Jay Crowder quoted the tweet and said, "Hey, Tim," he did this in all caps. "Hey, Tim, with all due respect, I only play one way, and that's hard till the buzzer sounds. I'm sorry if it disgusts you. I know Knicks are your team, but you should tell them to play harder and less talking." 2 hands out emoji. This is fun. Like, I don't know. It was like a little scuffle that came from that. Jaren Jackson, another player from the Grizzlies, got suspended for that. I think one of the Morris twins, who was on that team? Marcus Morris got suspended for that, and I think Elfrid Payton definitely got suspended for that. So yeah, there was a video that surfaced online because, like I said, nobody pays attention to the Knicks anymore. That it was the fans in the arena chanting, "Sell the team." And I remember, if you go back, I think it was last season, 2 seasons ago, where James Dolan was walking out, who's the owner of the team, was walking out the arena, or walking through the tunnel, I should say, and a fan yelled at him, "Sell the team," and he got that fan booted from the arena. So now it's not just one person saying this. That's the whole entire arena chanting this. And that's a lot of people to boot from the arena. You're going to lose your fan base if you do that, Dolan. And it's like, my question is, would the Knicks ever be a prominent team in the NBA again in years to come? Because this offseason was the offseason that a lot of the Knicks fans was thinking, like, this is going to be the offseason. We're like, we're going to get KD. We're going to draft Zion. We're going to get Kyrie. I was under the belief that was going to happen, maybe because they had one of, if not the worst record in the league last season. So I was like, I said they're gonna get a good draft pick. They can probably get number 1, get Zion. And then when it became evident after the draft lottery, they didn't get the number 1 pick, they got the number 3. All right, we don't get Zion. But we can get KD and Kyrie. And I thought, okay, KD, Kyrie, and RJ Barrett, that's not a bad pairing. KD and Kyrie was not coming to that organization, not with James Dolan there. It's just a bad stench around the New York Knicks organization and just that team. It's like, what can I compare? It's like that. If you have food in your refrigerator that you just put in there one night and you just left it in there, you just forget about it. Like, I don't know, you come home from just a wild night or whatever, you just bring home some food, and the food sits in that refrigerator. You go, let it sit there for a couple of days, and you walk by, you just have a little foul stench, and like this, something just don't smell. It's like, ugh, what is that smell? This is a foul stench. That's just what the New York Knicks are. They just sitting there lingering around. You don't know what it is, but it's there. And it's just like, God, the Knicks, I don't know. The Knicks in my lifetime, since I've been alive, to my memory, they haven't been they have never been a team that's like, oh my gosh, the New York Knicks. They haven't been like just a dominant franchise, or just a franchise you look up to, like you would the Lakers, or like the Warriors, or you like the Celtics, and when they was going at the Heat when they was like big, like just some of these teams you wouldn't like. Nobody really like yeah, they had like a good little run when Melo was there, with Amari Stoudemire and like Chauncey Billups when he was there for a little bit. Just some people, Jeremy Lin, Tyson, like they had like a decent little run, but it was like, it didn't amount to nothing really in the end. So it was like, I don't know. The Knicks, where they go from here? Because they signed some questionable players in the offseason, signing like what? 4 players at the same position, and Bobby Portis, Markieff Morris, Taj Gibson, and Julius Randle. So it's like, I don't know what they're doing. So if you're a Knicks fan, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do for you, man. I don't know. Or lady, I'm sorry, I don't know. But let's get into the next topic. We're gonna close out the show with this. All-Star game is coming up in 2 weeks. Not this. Well, it's 2 weeks. Okay, it is 2 weeks. It's Valentine's Day weekend. So All-Star game is coming up in 2 weeks. So we've initially found the starters of the All-Star teams. Just the starters actually, because they got to still do the draft. LeBron and Giannis do, because they got the most votes in their respective conferences. From the West, we had LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, Luka, and James Harden. From the East, these are the starters. We had Kemba Walker, Trae Young, Pascal Siakam, Joel Embiid, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And for the reserves, that was just named yesterday, I believe. Yeah, it was yesterday. We have from the Eastern Conference, we had Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Ben Simmons, who I never voted for. I didn't, in my eyes, he's not an all-star, but it's the East, so he is. That's a different topic. I guess he is an all-star. I guess. I don't know. I just feel like Ben Simmons should average more points. I think so. It's 16, yeah, he got 8 and 8, but it's like, score some more points for me, Ben Simmons. Give me 20 at least. 20? You can give me 20 points, Ben. Chris Middleton, who like I said earlier, he snuck into there. He was playing well recently. Jason Tatum, first-time All-Star. Bam Adebayo was the first-time All-Star as well. And Domantas Sabonis, my Indiana Pacers. Yes, I voted for him. He's in there, first-time All-Star as well. And for the Western Conference reserves, we got Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, who's a first-time All-Star, Jokic, Rudy Gobert, who's finally an All-Star, Brandon Ingram, 150 BI. He's a first-time All-Star too. Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul, who wasn't an All-Star last year, but playing for the Thunder, he is an All-Star this year. So, yeah. So we got those for the reserves. Like I said, the draft that the teams will pick, I think, takes place on Monday, the 6th. Whenever February 6th is, that's when the draft takes place for when LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to pick their teams. So from there, we'll have like the actual rosters of what their teams are going to do. And the league is they put out a new format for how they want the game to go. I'll read to you how it's supposed to be. They said, so both NBA All-Star Game teams will play for Chicago-based community organizations as selected by team captains Giannis Antetokounmpo and LeBron James. The teams will compete to win each of the first 3 quarters, all of which will start with the score 0-0 and will be 12 minutes long. At the start of the 4th quarter, the game clock will be turned off and the final target score will be set. The final target score will be determined by taking the leading team's total cumulative score through 3 quarters and adding 24 points, 24 representing the late Kobe Bryant's uniform number. And once the final score is set, the teams will play an untimed 4th quarter, and the first team to reach the final target score will win the NBA All-Star Game. And they give an example. So, for example, if the cumulative score of the first 3 quarters is 100 to 95, the final target score will be set at 124. To win the NBA All-Star game, the team with 100 points would need to score 24 points in the fourth quarter before the team with the 95 points scores 29 points and vice versa. The community organization selected by the winner of each of the first 3 quarters will receive $100,000 and a total of $300,000 donated to charity for those 3 quarters. The winner of each of the first 3 quarters will be the team with the highest score at the end of the 12-minute quarter. The winning team in the NBA All-Star Game, i.e. the team that reaches the final target score first, will earn $200,000 for its designated community organization. So, with that being said, there's like a little charitable aspect that's been added to the All-Star Game this year, which is good. And I've seen some people like being confused by this format. So basically, each quarter is a new game, essentially, from what I've read and what I'm like looking at. So each quarter is a new game, and whoever wins each quarter, they'll get like their team will whatever charity they're like donating to will get that the funds for that charity, I guess. And yeah, and the fourth quarter, they'll put the scoreboard back. They'll add all the points from the first 3 quarters, and they'll add. So yeah. Yeah. So they'll add all those 3 points together, and they'll set a final target score. So whoever has the highest point, they'll add 24 to that, and it will be the final target score. So whoever gets to that points first, like it says here, if it's 100 to 95, whoever gets to 124 first wins the game. So a lot of people is kind of like I said, they're confused, and at the same time they're iffy about it. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say, I don't know. I'll just let it see how it goes. The NBA is always trying something out new. I like how they're respecting, paying tribute to Kobe Bryant. I think last time I checked too, I think they're also, so the NBA announced Friday, today, that all players on Team LeBron will wear Gianna's number 2, and all players on Team Gianna's will wear number 24, which is good. So they are like still paying tribute in that aspect as well. So I like how there's like a Kobe themed All-Star game going on here, and how they like everybody will wear number 2 on LeBron's team, and 24 will be on Team Gianna's, which is a cool aspect as well. But with this format, like I said, just taking off the score each quarter, I mean, I guess it could be cool. Because I don't know if it's really going to take away the competitive aspect of it. Because I guess with them adding back the final target score in the fourth quarter and adding 24 points to it, that's still keeping it competitive, because it's like you still trying to get this goal and you trying to reach that 24 points. So it's more so of a charitable aspect, because it's like you're not only playing just to win and like just have supreme of like who the better players are, but if you win, your charity wins $300,000, which is good too. So it's a good cause. So I like that. I think it's pretty cool. When we look at it from that way, in that perspective, I think it's pretty cool. So there is also, as every All-Star game has, there is also some snubs. The two most notable snubs from the All-Star game this year is Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. They're the only players in the last 35 years to average 27 plus points per game without making the All-Star game. Bradley Beal, who's playing on the Washington Wizards, who have been abysmal of a team these past 2 seasons with John Wall being injured. Yeah, John Wall, who remembers that guy? I'm just playing. But he's been playing on a team, and like he's averaging 28 points. I think, 28, 29 points. Devin Booker averaging 27 and 6%. Oh no, not 6%. 6 assists a game with 60% true shooting. Last time I saw. So they're putting up good numbers, but the case I can make for Devin Booker, being in the West with all those guards like Dame, Russ, you seen Luka rising up this year, James Harden, Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell. I mean, is Devin Booker better than Donovan Mitchell? One can argue that, but his team has a better record, and that goes to another argument that some people was making, like, is it an individual thing to get an All-Star, or is it a team aspect to get an All-Star? Because you'll see some players get awarded to be in the All-Star game because of their contributions to a good team, like Kyle Lowry. Like, yeah, he's in the All-Star game. I saw like they was talking on TNT saying, well, Bradley Beal should be in over him. I think it shouldn't have came down to Bradley Beal and Kyle Lowry, I think should came down to Bradley Beal and Chris Middleton, in my opinion. I think Bradley Beal is better than Chris Middleton. So I think that should have been one you'd have probably got it over with. But like Kenny was making a point on there saying how Bradley Beal, how Kyle Lowry is a contributing player on the second best team in the East, averaging 20 points. And I don't know his assists off the top of my head, but contributing 20 points with Pascal Siakam, who's an All-Star starter, who also averages over 20 points. Just them two together and having the record they have, it just shows that like you're All-Star worthy, which I feel is another reason why Chris Middleton is on there as well, because he's playing with such a great player with Giannis, and he's putting up good, at least decent numbers, and you contributing to the amount of wins. At that point, it kind of plays in it, but it's like, is it fully individual? Because we see Trae Young, who is an All-Star, but he's on a team that has like one of the worst, if not the worst, records in the NBA. But his numbers are so undeniable. It's like, you got to put this guy in there. And the way they vote for the starters is by fan vote. So that's also a big part into it as well. And the reserves are picked by the coaches. So it's just, people can just question and ask, like, how are these players picked? Because, like, Devin Booker, yeah, but he's in the Western Conference. He's kind of like how he'll probably end up being like how Mike Conley be. Because until, like, I guess, I could see him probably being in next year, actually. I could see him being next year because Chris Paul slid in there because of the way the Thunder are playing. And I could see him being there next year. But Bradley Beal, yeah, that was something that definitely this year I could see him being in the All-Star game over Chris Middleton. But just by the coaches, I guess they got to take it up with some of the coaches. That's not on us. That's not on, yeah, part of it is fan vote, but most of it is on the coaches. So that's just something they got to take up with them. But hey, that's all I have to talk about today. Thank you all for joining me on my first episode of Tre Ball. I don't have any music right now, but there will be some music coming soon. So to keep y'all a little bit entertained, there will be intro and outro. There will be a logo too, besides just seeing my face. I know you're just tired looking at my face like, that's playing. Thank you all for joining me today for Tre Ball. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends if you listen to this on SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify. And yeah, peace out. I'm done.